Hey everybody, so I'm still sick, but hey, since I've been sick, I've been doing nothing but playing MK1 early access, so I figured I would give my 2 cents since it comes out today. I was actually planning on doing this anyways, but obviously have it out like on the 19th in the morning, you know, on the release day, not in the afternoon or whatever. I was still going to go through and give you guys my thoughts on MK1. So I've been playing a little under a week. It's 5 days, I think. Yeah, 5 days of this game. Mostly been doing single player because I've been sick. I mean, just don't have the focus for multiplayer. Really played maybe 10 multiplayer matches total between Combat League and casuals. So, you know, I got a decent grip on the game. Playing most of the characters, at least 10 minutes in the practice mode for everyone. So got a good handle on it. Obviously beat the story, beat the invasion mode, not 100%, but beat most of the invasion mode. So first and foremost, if you're interested at all in Mortal Kombat, you played MK9, X, or 11. If you liked any of them, you're going to like MK1. Flat out, you're going to like it. I know $70, that's a big ask for a fighting game. And I'm just going to come right out and say it, the single player content is not as much as MK11. It's not really a focus here. But the fighting mechanics and so on, way above MK11. You're going to spend way more time in the lab in this game. You're going to learn a lot more in this game. And you're going to be interested by a lot more things in this game. Gameplay wise, not single player wise, not customization wise. So if more fighting, if labbing, going on matches, trying out new things, if that's your thing, yeah, MK1 all the way. That's what this is. But if you're more like you're grinding the Towers of Time and stuff over and over, I mean there's stuff like that in this game, but yeah, not as much as in MK11. So okay, good stuff. Let's get it out of the way. The graphics are amazing in this game. I know Maximilian Dude's been on record saying that like MK11 looks better in a lot of ways. I have no idea what he's talking about. This game looks like 10 times better. It has to do mostly with the lighting, I would say. The lighting looks a lot more natural in this game. And you know, I could see how like maybe like the costume designs in MK11 better, character models, things like that you liked better in MK11. That makes sense. But everything just looks more alive in this game because the lighting is just better. And the fluid motions as well, like the hair physics, blood physics, things like that, way better in this game. Definitely. The game feels way more alive. And on that note, really clear interface in this game, which I really like. You know, everything's very pronounced in this game. Everything's very clear. I think the interface as well just looks amazing. MK11's was just so gloomy, and you know, it wasn't like impossible to get around in. It definitely wasn't the most inviting interface you've ever seen. And on that note as well, you have more fluid and I would say easier to understand animations in this game. Obviously a lot of moves are very fast, but they made a point in this game to make the moves more pronounced, almost like it's a karate movie or something. And I actually like that about this, because it makes everything a lot more pronounced and easier to read, you know? Maybe that sounds weird, but you can probably see what I mean by the gameplay. There's also some great meaty audio. I mean, everybody knows that the audio is going to be good, but I mean, it's worth saying. I would say the music's better than MK11. The voice acting is just as good as MK11, with the exception of Megan Fox. And everything just has a unique sound to it. And that's something that's felt in the characters as well. I would say this is the best cast of characters in a very long time. Everyone is very, very unique. You know, you have some samey sort of characters like Smoke, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Rain, I would say all kind of feel like the same kind of person. But you know, two of them are evil and two of them aren't. Whoa. But no, seriously, like you got characters like Baraka, Johnny, Ashra, Havoc, Liu Kang, Kung Lao. I mean, they're all so different and it's just awesome. I mean, again, there's some bland characters. Like I would say Raiden is very bland. Liu is a little bland. Katana's definitely bland. But, you know, that's okay because you got General Shao and Sindel right there. So it's all good. And when it comes to their movesets, just as good. I would say everyone has at least one thing that's unique to them. Maybe other than like Li Mei and Katana, they don't really have too many special sauce going on. Liu as well is definitely lacking in the sauce department himself. But everyone's got at least one move where it's like there's this cool little interaction, like with Li Mei's forward 3, where you can delay it, cancel it, go through with it. You got like Liu Kang's dragon kick, you can delay it as well now, which is cool. You know, little things like that just to spice them up. But then you have whole characters like General Shao, who's just, it's going to take light years to learn him, but you know, light years isn't even a measurement of time, so yeah. You get the idea. I mean, Shang Tsung as well. Holy God, that character is complicated, but he's also very, very good, and it seems like it'd be really rewarding to learn him. So you have a character like Havoc as well, who's a little more reliant on the Cameo system, which I think is interesting. He's more of a Cameo reliant type of character because a lot of his launchers and moves, they work with cameos directly, but if you try and go for them alone, they're way too slow. They're not going to work. So I think that's actually a really interesting idea for the character. So speaking of the Cameo system, I mean, the Cameo system is fluid, it's easy to use, and it's got so many interesting interactions. So like, some cameos have just knockups, right? They just knock characters up. That's a thing. Or they stun characters. But the way the stuns and the knockups work, they're all a little bit different. Like, Kung Lao is more of a straight up knockup, but then Cyrax, they need to be in the air for him to knock them up. Little things like that. And like Frost has a straight up stun, but then Scorpion has a stun sort of, because they're launched as soon as you hit them, but they're not launched right away. They're grounded at first, after the Scorpion hits him. Does that make sense? So they're clearly trying to make things a little bit more interesting. And like Serena has a stun, but they're projectiles, so you can duck under them. Cool. Very cool stuff. And let's just say now, the stages, oh, they are gorgeous. And there's no more interactables. And on that note, I gotta say, this game feels way better in terms of skill gap. It's so much harder to just BS out a win. No more Jade uppercut down twos for the rest of time because the crushing blow's coming and you're going to get hit for 50%. No more of that. No more stupid interactables out of nowhere. Fatal blow, it's a little bit too strong, but it is only once per game, and the combos in this game tend to be so strong that it's like sometimes you don't even need the fatal blow, really. And you can combo break out of fatal blows as well now. That's awesome. And you also have the restriction of you can't cameo into the fatal blow, because if your cameo's out, the fatal blow won't work. Little things like that to keep it more in check. So, you know, in MK11, you just had people who would just jump and kick and then uppercut, because some of the uppercuts were like full screen in that game for some reason, with the down 2 crushing blow, which was just ridiculous. And of course, those people would all be on 300 ping, so it was hard to find the timing. I mean, a better player than me could beat those types of people, but they were just running around in Combat League getting high rankings because people were annoyed with them and just left the match and tried to queue against somebody else. Or maybe that was just me, I don't know. But regardless, in this game, I think the skill gap is a lot more obvious. People who are good at MK1 are going to get high rankings, and people who are bad at MK1, me, are going to stay in the low rankings. And it really feels like carrying, in quotes, is going to be a lot harder. Because if you're good with a character and a cameo together, that's a lot stronger than just being carried by a 50-50 type of character like Sub-Zero. So onto some of that extra and single player stuff. Invasions is like Crypts and the Towers of Time fused together, but it is a little padded. If you don't know what it is, it's basically like a big adventure. You go into these different realms and you walk around doing fights. Woo! Yeah, it's a little unfun because there's just so many armored moves, and obviously there's no armor breaks in MK1 this time, unlike in MK11. It is more balanced because you get to level up your characters, so, you know, it's like, hey, these fights are annoying, but if you just put in the time and level up your character a bit, you can get through these fights no problem. But the customization is stripped back. We're only down to 1 gear piece instead of 3 total ones, and then just 1 consuming costume of the character. Which is totally fine. I mean, so long as they're quality, that's okay. Just stripping it back to a skin and then 1 gear piece, that's fine with me. It was a little extra in MK11, to be honest. But there's still multiple currencies to worry about. There's a microtransaction currency, the currency you earn from the season, and then the coins you earn from the season. It's a little weird because, like, you get the season coins and the regular coins from basically the same thing. So it's like, why have 2 currencies? And then why even have a different currency to buy stuff at the store? And speaking of all this customization stuff, they don't show you in this game what's locked, right? They don't show you what's locked. So I have no idea what's actually in the game. I'm actually waiting to play Kung Lao when I get his sort of like cool armored version of himself from the story. I love that outfit and I don't want to play him until I get that outfit, but it's like, is that in the game? Can I unlock that? Is that a thing? How do I unlock that? And yeah, I know in MK11, that wasn't really a thing. They didn't tell you how to unlock stuff until a later patch, but it's like, okay, so you're telling me you didn't learn anything from MK11? Is that what you're telling me? So it's a little annoying. Not a big deal, but a little annoying. So there's some single player stuff to grind out here, but it's not as rewarding as MK11, and you don't really know what you're working towards other than the seasonal stuff. And just while we're complaining, no crossplay? Really? I mean, it's 2023. I should be able to play with people on all platforms. No question about it at this point. I mean, seriously, what's up with that? This is way more of a fighter's fighter. This game is great for people who want to grind learning the game and not gear, but I do wish there was a compromise. You should be able to play the game a lot and get a lot of gear. I see no reason why it should be one or the other. Injustice's 2 system wasn't perfect, but like, you just got gear for playing the game. That's how it should be. Maybe not random like it was in Injustice 2, but you get the idea. There's also definitely some early balance concerns here for sure. Kenshi is just a monster. Shang has some ridiculous combos and mix-ups. Smoke and Raiden as well are very strong. Smoke is seriously going to take like 20 hours to lab out those mixes, but there's also things like the Jack's unblockable. That's going to be really problematic for a while. Striker and Darius have hard to blockables as well, and Serena is just too strong at everything, to be honest. I know you can duck the very obvious stun projectiles, but basically always having your meter drained as soon as you get knocked down, that's a little strong. And it's just considering that the Cameo, of course, has those stun effects as well. So it's like they sort of have these things mixed together in an unfair sort of way. Still though, there's hours upon hours of fighting fun. Lots of stuff for you to try online or just in the single player. The customization is lacking obviously, so you need to want to learn and experiment with the game to get your enjoyment factor. If you're going into this looking to play single player, just to unlock cool gear, yeah, this game's probably not for you. You need to go into it with the drive to learn all these cool new combos and cool new interactions for yourself and execute them to perfection. This game's been out for almost a week, and 100% optimal combos have still not been found. We're still finding a little bit of damage here and a little bit of damage there. And then, of course, that's usually just with one cameo. What can you do with another cameo? There's a whole roster of them. So that's the real draw with this game. So if that sounds like fun, yes, get this game. Get it. I know $70 is a lot for a fighting game, but it's worth it. That's all I have on MK1 for now. Thanks for watching.